let's go out and buy some fish for our pond, for our ranchu tank, and whatever else we can find. Probably do a separate video of just replanting this tank. We're gonna do like a little unboxing. One by one, we're gonna reveal the fish that I got. This is the first ever view from underwater. Hey there. Hey there. What's going on, everybody? So today we got a pretty exciting video. We're gonna get some fish for the ranchu tank for the 150-gallon koi pond. Maybe some more fish, who knows, but we're gonna get fish today. But one of the first things I have to do, sadly, is if you watched any of the previous videos of mine, you'll know that we got 2 ranchu goldfish last year, late last year. Of the 2 fish we had, this one was the one that just kept growing. Crazy amounts of size, day after day, week after week, and it was surpassing the size of the other one. And I did absolutely everything I could. I was feeding him, hand feeding him every single day. I ended up taking them out and treating them for internal parasites. I ended up treating both of them because I didn't want to separate them. So anyway, I treated them both. So I went ahead and put them back in here. And it wasn't, I don't think, maybe more than 1 or 2 days later, that small fish just did not make it. And that's really sad. It's definitely sad when you try everything you can and fish just don't pull through. And some of that is out of our control completely, but it's just sad a little bit, mainly because we have one ranchu now and he definitely needs a friend. But one cool thing about this one is he's almost completely changed his coloring. I mean, he had a lot, I'll put like a side-by-side up for you right now, but when this one was small, it just looked completely different. It had a lot more splotches and sort of like black, darker gold coloration. But anyway, it's changed a lot. But big thing about this tank, recently we changed out the substrate. We went from gravel to this sand. It's actually a pool filter sand, and it looks a lot better than I thought it was gonna look. In the beginning, it looked pretty orange, but now, I mean, compared to a goldfish, it's not orange by any means. It's definitely a tan color compared to like a white sand in a saltwater tank, like an aragonite sand, but it's a nice color. What is not a nice color are these rocks, which are covered in diatoms, some algae and stuff. So what we're gonna do today is add some plants to this tank, but mainly we're gonna get some fish to help deal with the algae in this tank. And there's not a lot of surface area, so we don't need something super big, but we want something to just clean up these rocks, because in the beginning, these rocks looked really good. And now they look more natural. They look more like rocks you'd find in a river, but they're brown and they're yucky. So we're gonna get some fish to help clean those rocks up. Also, we're gonna get some fish for this pond. Now, I'm gonna have to try to blur some of these fish out because there are 2 fish in here that we've already got and we already put them in. They went through quarantine. We took them out of quarantine out of this tank, which is our quarantine tank, and they're back in here because we need this tank over here for the fish we're gonna get today. Anyway, I added a second filter for this tank. We added a canister filter. Gonna have to make these less obvious. These are just some pipes that I attached to this canister filter that I just recently set up to replace this thing, because it's not easy to clean. This hang on the back filter, it's undersized, it's hard to clean, and so we have this relatively old canister filter that I just recently set up. But that's the new filter for this pond. It's doing quite well. So we're gonna end up removing this hang on the back filter and hiding these pipes, and overall, it'll be much more of a natural feel to not have a big filter hanging back there. We can also add more plants back there if we want to. The main thing I'm looking for today for this pond is something, again, to clean up all of the diatoms and the algae that's starting to form from there not being any cleanup crew in here whatsoever. We've got some black beard algae coming on these roots, even though these roots are looking wonderful from this monstera. This guy is shooting out all these different kind of roots that are gonna be great for some small fish. Maybe even some fish will breed in here. So, I think it's time we go out and get some fish today. What do you guys think? Quick update on the 90-gallon. Looking super full and in need of a trim. Some of these crypts that I have had for forever they're just exploding right now. The grass is coming up to the front. We need to pluck that out, move it back. Rotala rotundifolia in there in the back is, oh my gosh, look at it. It's luscious. And we have the Java fern exploding and more Ludwigia just covering the surface. We need to probably do a separate video of just rescaping this tank. Not rescaping it, but just cleaning it up. Like a 10-minute aquascape and chill or something, something you can relax to. Get in here and pluck stuff out, reposition it, feed the fish, who knows? But this will be like its own thing because that's a big deal. The other day I went through here and replanted some of these plants, cut them down, replanted them. We did lose some of them. We had Ludwigia arcuata in some pockets in here, and that didn't make it. It melted and it's gone. So we're gonna have to get some other plants in here. The grass is doing fairly well. I just recently cleaned this the other day and did a water change, and I think it's definitely in need of some fertilizers. We're gonna bring this tank up to tip-top condition, and as well, we need some more fish for it. It's not reached its peak by any means, its ultimate form we have yet to achieve. So we're gonna get some more fish for it, some more plants, and probably a new filter, because this thing is just, look, cleaned it, back to leaking. All that water. Not good. When you buy a used tank and a filter, or a filter on Facebook Marketplace, and it comes with a little bin to stick it in, you know that it leaks. I'm super surprised I haven't seen any Hillstream loach babies in here, because these two Hillstream loaches are the parents of the ones we already got fish from, and there's really nothing in here that's gonna bother some small babies. These rainbows don't really do much but swim around and like mess with each other. This tank, I actually do really like this tank. It's very simple. I do want some more fish in here. Good tank, I like this tank, but we're gonna do some more with this tank later. And the saltwater tank, the reef tank, is really doing great, and I need to do a full update on this tank. I didn't bother cleaning the glass because I wasn't actually going to talk about it, but if you could see through the glass, you could see the hammer is doing great. Basically all the corals we have in here are doing great. I have problems with this wave maker, which I'm going to make a review on, but that's pretty unfortunate. I'm probably going to have to invest in some high quality pumps. I'll come out here and this thing will just not be on. I'll unplug it, it comes back on. I think primarily the issue is the feed mode. And when you put it in feed mode, it's supposed to take 10 minutes to come back on, and it doesn't come back on. It used to work fine. It doesn't anymore. So that's unfortunate. We need more fish, we need more corals. I love this tank. It's gonna be great. Anyway, is that the update? That's the update. Let's get back to the video. Let's go out and buy some fish for our pond, for our ranchu tank, and really whatever else we can find. Let's go. We're gonna go to maybe a few fish stores, hopefully just one, and see if they have what we're looking for. The one and only fish store that I had been going to for quite a few years has just gone downhill a little too much. As much as it pains me to do this, we're gonna look at Petco, some of the bigger chain stores, and see if they have any fish. There is a smaller store, so maybe we can try that store, if nothing at Petco, and nothing at this other one that's right here. We'll get out and see what they got. Let's check it out. Supposed to be some albino bristlenose plecos, but I don't see any in here. I just have the normal plecos. I'd probably get a normal pleco, like the common plecos, as long as they were like a chocolate or albino or something, but I just got normal. I don't really care about those. That's some fat mollies. That's a nice betta. Look at that guy. That one's crazy pretty too, look. That's wild. That was kind of disappointing. I feel like they haven't got a shipment in a while. There just was not very much in there. But we're gonna try one that's like kind of next door. Honestly, I don't even know if they have fish anymore. As long as they have like some bristlenose plecos, some guppies. They definitely don't have saltwater. It's like a value pet store. So they've got maybe the basics. Second spot, let's try. Oh, hey, looky there, some Dalmatian mollies. I'm definitely not a molly guy. I don't like mollies, but the Dalmatian mollies are really cool. Definitely no glowfish. Oh man, I kind of don't want to get just mollies, but I might get just mollies. I don't want to be that guy who just gets mollies. Should we get a bisher? Get safe him from the glowfish environment. There's a pleco in the back of this one. I can't tell. Kind of a common pleco. They're now calling bishers Senegalese eel. I don't think they're eels, guys. Maybe they are eels. I don't know. That dude's only like $7. This guy, $7? Come on, dude. If they have anything cool, we're gonna buy it. If they don't have anything cool, we're gonna leave disappointed like we did the first time. He's going wild. That's why he's $75, because he puts in work. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?
Much later.
So two things happened today, guys. We found a really interesting fish store that I had been wanting to go to for a long time, and I also didn't film it.
I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid.
So I'm sorry about that, but it's weird because it's one of the coolest fish stores that I've been to. Probably like the most authentic. Like if you knew someone who was really into fish, this is the kind of fish store they would have. It's very homey. It's like the guy lives there. You know, there's tanks everywhere. They're all very clean. The fish are healthy. All the livestock, the plants that he has in there, everything's clean and well maintained. It's like a tank you have at your own house. You know, everything's it's been set up for a while, so all the stuff just looks good. It's just not like the common fish store experience. So I will take you back there later, and we'll see some more fish. We'll get some more fish from him because he's really nice. His name is Dave. The prices for his fish that he's selling is very reasonable. At other fish stores, we're just insane. Have you ever seen? I've never seen a bristlenose pleco for $75 this big. A $75 bristlenose pleco? What? But anyway, we got exactly the fish that we really went out to buy, plus a couple extra, and I will show you those right now. Despite the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt, it's not the same day that we went out and bought these fish. We've had these fish here in quarantine, not treating them for anything because those are the fish that I got from the really cool fish store. And the fish over here in this quarantine tank have been quarantined and treated because, well, they came from a pet store. They came from Pet Supplies Plus, and I think it was Pet Supplies Plus. These fish in here, were treated. They're good. They're in with the other koi now, and they're doing great. These. You might be like, oh wow, guppies. I've seen guppies before. Well, I have never had guppies.
I don't want to hear anyone judging me, okay? I'm trying my best.
So we found some guppies, and you are not gonna believe the size of some of these fish. Like, you might be like, oh, that looks like a nice size guppy. Wonder how big that guppy is. It's not even towards the glass. Like, some of these these are females, guys. Female.
It is ma'am.
And so we have, I think we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 females and 2 males. This little guy, this horny little guy, really, he tries to mate with everybody. And so he's not the alpha. If you can see, his tail was pretty good in the beginning, but he, despite all of the hiding places in here, he's constantly up here trying to rape these females. And this other male is, I would say, probably the dominant male in here.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
So we got these fish, very reasonably priced. And God, if you can see these fish, this is a female guppy on the right. That one's got a little skin issue, I just noticed this today. Despite this tank being fairly big and there being a lot of plants in here, they get kind of agitated, and this one looks like it's sustained a little bit of damage. So, but this is a female. Look at those fins. Let's find one of the other females. That's a female. These are some of the most beautiful female guppies I've ever seen. And so we've got obviously snakeskin males and females. We have babies already. Let's see if we can find some babies in here. There's one. Oh, he's gone. Oh, there's one. Baby gup. No idea how many are in here. I really haven't looked. And not all these females have given birth yet. I can't imagine they would have all given birth already because they looked pretty, they were all pretty thick when I bought them. And now the biggest female is slightly less thick. So she's probably already given birth. But we've got guppies, so we're gonna put those in some like outdoor ponds or some other fish tanks, but I've never had guppies. So I felt like I needed to have some guppies. There are other kind of guppies that I want to get, some more interesting kinds. The snakeskin ones are just kind of common, but they're really cool. And I wanted guppies, so we got some guppies. Now, we're gonna do like a little unboxing, or one by one, we're gonna reveal the fish that I got. Before we do that, we're gonna start with the fish that are already in the pond. Let's take a look at 2 fish, 2 additional koi, 2 butterfly koi. And these 2 came from just an ordinary pet store, and they have quickly become the friendliest koi that we have in here. Brittany comes in here and they will literally let you pick them up. These 2, they're butterfly koi. The camera might be making them a little scared. Look at these fish, super cool. We're gonna break out the waterproof camera here and get some underwater footage, first ever underwater footage of the channel. These fish are they're just the best. Like, they were ordinary pet store fish, and they have quickly become like the most friendly. Also, this brown one right here, used to not have really much orange on it, and it started to just almost completely change colors the longer we had it. But these are butterfly koi, so they're gonna get really long fins. This is the first ever view from underwater in the pond. And now you can actually see the other fish a bit more close up. And if you haven't seen this pond before, right here we have, or yellow, white, whatever. Fancy goldfish is common kind of goldfish. We have a silver koi right here. This is our cute little silver koi. We have a yellow and gold koi. We have 2 shabumpkins. There's 1 shabumpkin. And this is the other shabumpkin. The water in this pond is so clear. Like, I mean, it's not just to do with the filter. I think the plants play a role, the wood plays a role, but I mean, the filter is pretty good. So anyway, we've got this super awesome pond that we're gonna just keep adding more fish to. And we have more fish today to add to this pond. So let's make this the first pond, or the first tank that we're gonna add fish to today. I'll have to get a special viewing cup so we can look at our fish that we buy. This is just gonna be a little round thing, and it might be kind of hard to look inside. Hopefully it'll be better than a plastic bag or something else that I could have used. The first fish of today are Dalmatian mollies. Not exactly sure if these are male and female or possibly just male. I know this black one is definitely the boss. He picks on these two other fish to make sure he gets the food first. One thing I want to point out is just how much these fish have changed color. Specifically this black one. He looked almost exactly like the other ones at first, and he's gotten so much more dark. And he's probably a little stressed. Well, he's obviously stressed, but he's stressed and he's not showing this blue color. But I have footage of him, and he has this most amazing blue shimmer on the back of his tail. And I'm not sure if I've ever seen Dalmatian mollies with like this really iridescent blue. So he's pretty cool. Hopefully they will do some breeding and make some more fish. But we did end up buying 4 from the store, and after a water change, not sure what happened, but one of them looked to be the healthiest of the 4 that I bought. It just died. After the water change, not sure if it was stress related or what, but that was before I treated them for anything. I was kind of letting them sit for a few days to see what went on. And yeah, so unfortunately we only have 3 now. They're gonna help with this beard algae and also add some more interest to this pond. I'm just gonna set these guys right here. This is basically the exact same water, but what we're gonna do is just take a little bit of water every so often, put that in here with these guys, take some water out as soon as it gets a little fuller. And these fish will continue acclimating as we get the next fish ready to go in to the pond. The next fish are actually gonna come from the same place we got the guppies from. When I mentioned earlier that plecos are very expensive, certain kinds of plecos, even bristlenose plecos, can be so expensive. At first glance, these might seem similar. I mean, they are similar, but we have the one on the left has some spots with a white fin, a white streak going down the back of his fin, and the one on the right has blue eyes. So I am not 100% certain what specific kind of plecos we have here. I believe one of them is a bristlenose. I think that one might be a bristlenose. This one has blue eyes, so it's definitely not an albino. These are gonna look really great in this pond because they'll be easy to see. They'll stand out. So anything we would have gotten that would have been like a common pleco or anything like that, anything dark, you're not gonna see them. You're definitely not gonna see them as often. I mean, yellow plecos, they stand out pretty well, especially against this dark bottom to this pond. You're gonna see them really easily, and they're gonna do great for algae removal. These guys will clean up the surfaces, stir up all the dirt, debris and stuff, and let the filter take care of it. So I've been looking for these guys forever. And this pond is heated. I have a heater back there. So we have got about 76 degrees going through this pond, at least 76. The room temperature does get a little bit higher than that occasionally. So these plecos, mollies, koi, the plecos are probably the only fish that might like it slightly warmer, but 76 will be perfectly fine in here and they'll do great in this tank. So let's finish acclimating these mollies and the plecos, and then we'll get them both in at the same time. Take some water, add it in. So now we're gonna move on to the ranchu tank. And the fish that are gonna go in here are probably, as you could guess, some other kind of pleco, because we need something to clean the rocks in this tank. Something that would stand out a little bit more than a common pleco. So we don't have any common plecos. We have 2 very interesting plecos. One that I might end up putting in this tank eventually, depending on how the fish in here go. I mean, we're gonna do cichlids. I don't want that to be anything that's gonna pick on these fish. And one of them I know for a fact we're definitely gonna have in the ranchu tank because it's definitely more of a delicate fish. And we're gonna put them right in here. There's only one pleco in here, and the other pleco is over there. Almost got him. He's actually pretty fast for how much fins he's got on him. This guy's really cool. And unfortunately, I don't know what this pleco is called, but you guys can help me. If you guys know what this is, let's take a look. This guy's fins are just crazy. I'm not really a big, like, fancy fin pleco guy, but this one's pretty cool. He's got like a nice little striper on the base of his tail, super long tail, spots, just a really interesting pattern. Let me see if I can get a better view with my phone. And he almost looks like a little leaf. Like when he's on a stick, you really can't even tell he's there. So super cool. Let's add the second pleco. Let's get the camera in here so we can see some action. Move this rock. All the gunk. Yeah, favorite fish of the day. This was the only fish, other than the mollies, this is the only fish that I know the name of. This is a mustard spot pleco, who is probably going to be difficult to catch. Look at this fish, guys. Such a cool fish. All right, let's have a look at these two. Okay, it's been about an hour, so we're gonna go ahead and get these guys in. That's been plenty of time. All 5 of these fish are plenty acclimated. Water's the same temperature. Everything else should be the same. Let's go get these guys in. See if we can grab all the fish at once. Maybe just one. We'll settle with one. Okay, square net in a round container does not work very well. Let's try a round net in a round container. There we go. All 3 going in. The goldfish are checking them out. Go ahead and add some more food just to distract them a little bit. The mollies went all the way down to the bottom there. It's gonna be a little hard to see down there, it's so dark. I'm sure they'll come out later, but there's plenty of spaces for them to stay and hide until they're comfortable. A lot of the koi, actually, when we got the koi, except for these last 2 that I showed you today, most of these koi were fairly skittish for the first at least a week or so, especially this orange one, the silver one. You know, they definitely hid for the first week or 2. Well, let's do the plecos now. Got one going in. There he goes, look at him. Right under the wood. Cute little guy. Got a lot of stuff to eat in there. Got one more, last one, last pleco. Going in. Whee! Sucking on the side. We finally have some plecos for the pond. Look at his nice white tail. They're so small in this pond. The goldfish are checking them out. They don't really seem to care about them. That's sick. Goldfish are checking out the mollies too. There's a molly. There's 2 mollies swimming together. Sweet. There's definitely a lot more action in this pond. So we'll see how all these fish get on. Now it's time for the last of the plecos. Look at them in there. They are ready to be out of that little cup. See if I can set this camera up in here.
Under the sea, everything's better, downwards better.
Just to let you know, the water is 78.6 degrees in there, 77.9 degrees in here. That's pretty close. I think we're okay to let these guys go. We've got like 100 angles going right now. I'm trying to make it the easiest for you guys to see all these things. Let's do the long fin one first. Got him. Going in. Whee! This fish is so cool. We'll check back on him in a second. Let's do the next one. Oh, there's the ranchu. Checking him out. Okay, big guy, star of the show. Got him. This is such a cool fish. Look at that guy. Nice. Isn't that so cool? Okay, so the last thing I want to do is throw some plants in here, and they will just give the fish a little bit more to hang out on and it'll help the water quality a little bit. Let's take some of these plants that we had in quarantine. Some of these are like really small, but this should totally grow in there. We can add some more later, but I just want to put a little bit of extra stuff. Oh, got somebody on the glass. Look at him. He's sucking. Where did the other guy go? Other guy's right back there in the back. You can see his shadow. So let's just add these plants. For now, we're just gonna sort of wedge them. We'll just sort of wedge them in here anywhere we can find a spot. These are epiphytes, Anubias. I think there's only Anubias right here, but we're just gonna leave these rhizomes above the surface. These roots will find their way into the soil, but you don't plant them. Don't plant them at all. I mean, you can totally leave them out of the substrate, but you just want to sort of tuck them in little crevices, and then the roots will just find their own way into the substrate as they need. There's just a little bit more going on in there now. This is it, guys. We're gonna check back in a few days and give you an update or something just to see how everybody's doing. In a few days, these rocks are gonna be like super clean. Also the pond with the water super clear. Once all the plecos do their work on the sides, the surfaces of all the leaves and stuff, everything's gonna be so clean in here, you literally won't believe it. So, I just saw some mollies swimming around. There's two right there. Two mollies, one molly down there, and I'm sure the plecos are gonna be almost, oh wait, there's a pleco. He was back there, I promise. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for coming with me and buying all these fish today. We're gonna do a lot more in the future. Just a little sneak peek what's to come. For the 125 cichlid tank, look below. This is about 300 pounds of rock that we're gonna use to scape this amazing tank that we're gonna have. We're gonna go to the store, pick up some aragonite sand, or order online. We've got all the rocks. This is so close to being the next tank in the fish room. I cannot wait. Don't forget to like and subscribe so I know if you guys like this content. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.